1, 2. There's no sound. Now then, I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me, Paul? There's no sound on yours. We need to find some sound. I don't think the chat can hear you neither. So if you've just had a good old chat there, mate, and nobody's heard you. Anyway, folks, good evening. While Paul sorts that out, I'll have a little chat with you guys. I hope you're all well. I'm here in my dressing gown Bob tonight. As you know, I'm a bit of a spiv, so I like to wear my dressing gown. Not really. It's getting later. I'm getting old. But Grandad's trying to sort his sound out. Once he's done that, he'll be with us. He'll join us. It's only a first one, so we're getting there. I hope you're all well. I hope you're all fit and well. I was going to share this to my channel, but I don't know how to do it. I need to work out how you do it. So, because you can do that now, can't you, on these programs? So I'll have to do that. I'm back again. I don't know what we like. That's a shortcut this time. It is. I've had my hair cut this week. I went to barbers and there were a queue. Now my missus has been away. She's been away for the weekend to caravan. So I thought Friday, I go out Friday nights with my mates, and I thought I'm going out tonight. Look at me hair, I need an haircut. So what did I do? I got clippers and had a go. Now then, there's bits of mist and all this, that and other, and little bits of scalp, what have you. And my wife's going to tidy it up for me. So that's what's happened to my haircut. It's a little bit short, but hey-oh. What's happened with Grandad? Where's he gone? Is he struggling? I've had to give him a ring and make sure he's up. Oh, he's stepped me off. Can you still hear me, guys? Let me know if you can still hear me. I think he's on mute, isn't he? No, we can't hear you. No, we can't hear you. Have you got your mute? Have you got it muted in this program? Hey, look at that for his. I like his background, don't you? He's at races there on fun fair. You can hear me, Noxie, can't you? I don't. I think Grandad's having an issue with his sound. So we're waiting for him to see if he can sort it out. So as I said, I've had my haircut today. Not today, Friday. And it is a bit short, but it's better in this weather, isn't it? It's a good old barber's cut, that. Well, I've had my haircut. I did it. So anyway, let me just see who's in the chat and say hello. Right. You sort that sound out, Grandad, and I'll hold the fort. Sharon, the lovely Sharon. We love Sharon to bits, don't we? Kelsey, lovely Kelsey, modding for us. Who else we got? Noxie. Noxie's good man. Simon Kirk, how are we doing, Simon? Evening Cheggers from down. Is it Simon Kirk? I don't know. Black Queen. Nikki. Who else we got? Mini Scotch Egg. Let's have a look. Who else we got? Hey, it's quiet, isn't it, with our Grandad, because he can witter on, can't he? Nikki. Hiya, Nikki. Yeah, no, he's. I see you telling me you can't hear him, and what's Scott put? Let's have a look. What you put, Scott? Only joking, Bobby. You should see my hair. It's nothing there. Shaved it, but notice you had an haircut. Thanks for noticing, Clary. Hiya, darling. Jeff Swan. Hey up, Grandad and Bobby. How are we doing, Jeff? And Nick.
So hopefully you can hear me.
I can hear you now. Can't see you though.
Ah, well, there you go then.
Get your picture up. Get your camera up.
Just bear with me a sec.
Hey, what's he like?
Where hast thou been since I saw
So
thee
the
on
the
Ilclimore Bartad? Where hast thou been since I saw thee? Where hast thou been since I
Lost. Okay.
Here we go. Bit of
Okay.
Baltimore about that there.
Yeah.
About that.
Anyway, the background. Hull Fair.
Oh, is it?
Hull Fair last year.
Good that you've done that.
Opening night. I
You,
can't get my camera right tonight, so you'll have to forgive me, folks, because I've had some bad
Oh.
news today, and
have you?
I've panicked a little bit, and you know I shouldn't panic at my age, but I bloody
No.
did.
No.
So you'll just have to bear with me if I make a right cock up of it. I didn't want it to be a cock up.
It didn't
but,
cock up.
You know, but we'll get there. Anyway, Bobby, you know, you could have dressed yourself up a bit, mate.
Well, as you know, I'm a bit of a spiv, a Yorkshire spiv.
Right.
Not really. I'm getting old, and I get ready for bed earlier now as you get older.
Oh, good heavens above. I've made an effort.
But hey, I held the fort there for you, and it was nice having a bit of it.
You
did.
did.
You can talk, can't you? You can talk, and it was nice having that bit of quiet for a moment.
I do apologise because I do talk over you a lot.
So how are you, mate?
Oh, I'm cracking. I hope everybody else is.
Yeah, we've got 30 in the chat so far, so it's all going good. It's all going swimmingly.
Good. I'm quite impressed.
I'm
quite impressed, but you know, I looked at the I don't know. I looked at the comments section before I came on live to see if anybody's put in. Have we got an echo?
No.
Is there an echo?
No.
Okay. I've got an echo with me here, so just bear with me a second.
Oh, he's a fussy bugger, isn't he?
Yeah, there you go. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, it sounds clear as a bell to me.
Yeah, the echo's gone from out. The echo's gone out me here now.
Right.
Where was I? Shit. Yeah, I looked in the comments to see if anybody had put up something to talk about, and we've had 2 comments, and I said no to both of them. So
right. Well, if it's suitable, yes. If not,
well, I just thought it. Tell you the truth, Bobby. I thought it was bloody boring.
What it?
Yeah. So I thought rather than somebody else getting us to bore them, we'll just bore them. It's easy, isn't it? Because I'm a past master at boring people to death.
I doubt it. I don't think so. You're a good storyteller. You're a good storyteller, and
faceless. Who's faceless? Noxie. Who's faceless? Is that so? Oh, right. Sorry. You know, I'm jumping ahead, Bobby. Sorry.
Oh,
mate.
they've got silly names. Some of them, aren't they? You can get mixed up. It's all trial and error when you first start with lives. Evening, the real your nightmare.
Yeah. Now, good evening.
The real your nightmare. You know, put comments in my videos saying, "Bobby, we need to have a bit move on to something where you can talk about, you know, old times and that." And this what we're doing now has come up at the right time. You know, and I've had that probably for the last 2 or 3 years. People saying, "Tell us some stories," and that, you know. And it's something you can only do with wisdom, and wisdom comes with age, doesn't it? I used to believe, you know, when I was younger that there wasn't such a thing as wisdom. I thought, oh, it's a myth, it's nothing. But as you get older, you start thinking, hold on a minute, there is such a thing as wisdom, and it comes with age. It's learning and knowing and realizing that, you know, things aren't as important as you worry about them, you know. You learn to calm down, don't you?
You know, he said I was the one who bloody talked. He just thought it was the talk. Oh, sorry.
I'm only joking.
So was I.
So what kind of day you had today?
Oh, you're talking to me?
I am.
Oh, I thought you were talking to Tom there. Anyway, no. Tom, hi. And there was a thing up I just saw a little earlier on Faceless account. You know, not going to talk about checks tonight because that's not what this is.
No.
You know, we're not talking about checks, and we're not talking about any other person. And I don't know how to explain that one, but we're not talking about anybody else. So if you don't want to know anything, that doesn't make sense. Anyway, we'll carry on. Yeah, Bobby, I've had a bit of a crap day, but
Have you? Oh,
I've
dear.
had worse. I've had worse, mate. But
Oh dear.
Sorry, I can't multitask, mate. I'm really sorry. I'm reading and I'm
Yes.
trying to talk and
Stop
read.
reading. Stop
Well,
reading.
it's because it caught me high, and I thought, oh bloody hell, that's quite good. Simon Kirk from down south. Well, that's welcome, lad. We don't often welcome Southerners, but
No, well, not
that's
without the
okay.
passport.
Yeah, we need to know that you're okay.
You know, that's it. You can get into Yorkshire with a passport, but you'll still only be a guest.
Aye, you'll be very lucky. I tell you what, you'll be very lucky to get out with any money in your pocket.
Yeah, aye. We invented the word how much.
Aye.
Now then, there's a lot of
Evening,
people
Queen.
won't know down south is what they say around my way. I don't know if they do around your way. When they talk about Yorkshire and Lancashire, they'll say wrong side of till,
Aye.
meaning Lancashire.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
If
That's
they
why
get into I mean, I'll just tell you a little story.
It's up again.
About 20 years ago, I met a lad and he lived in my town, and he was from Lancashire, Manchester lad. And I got on right well with him. I used to go for a pint once a week with him and catch up. And I used to have him on with that. I used to say, "You're from wrong side. You're a good lad, but you're from wrong side at till." And a lot of Southerners won't know what I mean when I say that, will they?
No, they won't. I was just answering whilst you were chatting away. You see, I thought, well, this gives me the chance to answer some of the questions in the comment box. But as you can see, I can't type fast as well, so I can't read fast and I can't type fast. So
Well, I'll ask
I'm
them
going to
in the
answer.
chat. Anybody wants us to ask any questions? We're quite open for questions, but and we don't charge much, being Yorkshire lads.
Yeah,
It's a fair price.
Their nose, yeah, always get a fair price here. I don't know what that.
Look at this. There's somebody trying to wind us up. Paul.
Who's that?
Lancashire is God's country. Oh,
yeah.
No, Lancashire. No, I'm
yeah,
not having
well,
that.
there you go.
I'm not having that.
Yorkshire born, Yorkshire bred, strong in the arm, and I'm not going to say the rest, but there you go.
Yes, that's right.
So go on, Bobby, sorry.
Let me ask you a few questions, Paul, if you don't mind. Right?
Yeah, no, I
so
don't.
You're a born and bred Yorkshireman like me. So, what part of Yorkshire did you start in as a bairn?
I was born just outside Bridlington at the Royal Air Force, an old Royal Air Force landing area.
Right.
It was a World War II landing strip, and it was one of there was only 3 of this type of landing strip in the country, and it had a thing called FIDO, which was a fog dispersal system where they used to set fire to petrol down the sides of the runways to disperse the fog. And of course, when the planes coming in from the bombing missions and shit like that they were doing to the Germans and whatever, they could land at this RAF station.
Right.
Anyway, that's beside it. It wasn't an RAF station when I was born there. It was like a squatter's. A bit difficult to say what kind of a place it was, but it was like a squatter's place.
Right.
However, my mum did pay rent, so you can't really call it a squat, can you, if you pay rent to the council? But there you go.
So you started off with not much brass in the house, then, eh?
Nout. We had nout.
No.
That's
how I started.
There were no man at the house. There was my mum and 3 brothers and me.
Right. And you're the youngest?
I'm the youngest boy.
Right.
I have a younger sister, but my sister was born in Bridlington later on when we moved to Brid. But we spent the first 5 years of my life in this Nissen hut, basically, because that's what they were, Nissen huts.
Right.
Converted, you know, if
Hmm.
you can say converted. But that's what it was. We just got on with life,
Well, you do.
and
As a
that
kid,
was it.
you see that as being normal, don't you? Whether it
Yeah,
is or not.
yeah.
As a
Yeah.
kid, you do, and I would same.
No, I had a good time. It was nice. You know, I'm not knocking it. It was great. There were lots of people there. I met friends, and you know, I used to have to walk across the airfield and then across the railway tracks to get to school.
Did you? Bloody hell.
Yeah, it's
A bit dangerous.
oh, it could be, you know, because planes did. It was still when in 1951, it was still an emergency landing strip, so planes did come in to land, and you know, and stuff. We had a few crashes in my lifetime there. So yeah, it's what can I say? You know, we all
Right.
start life somewhere, don't we? We're not all born with silver spoon in a gob.
Did you say outside Bridlington?
Yeah, only just though, just on the
Or was it
just
a
on the
small
edge.
village type place or a small town? Well,
No, it's
what
a
was it?
little village. It's a little
Little village.
village. The village
Aye.
is called Carnaby.
Carnaby. I think I've probably
Carnaby.
seen these names. I've seen name. You know, I have heard that name before, and it's probably when I've been to coast, maybe drove past and
Aye,
whatever.
well, you'll pass through Carnaby to get to Brid if you've been to
Yeah,
Brid.
yeah,
So normally, unless you're coming south way, but yeah, you'd have
right,
come through Carnaby. And yeah, we were there till I think 9:56, and then moved to Bridlington.
right,
So
right. Well, there won't have been much work in Bridlington, will there? Because it's renowned its coast for not having, you know,
well, there were,
really.
you know, when I was young, there was work.
Right,
You know, not that I went to work. You know, I didn't go up chimneys and shit like that. But there was work, and it was only later where you know work started to drop off and whatever.
right.
Yeah,
What?
when I was young, there was work about.
Tell me to shut up if I'm still asking
Shut
too
up.
much. But no.
No, go on,
So
ask.
what? How old were you when you left school?
Just over 14.
Well, yeah, and that what legal age then?
No, it wasn't legal. I had to get permission.
What? How did that work then?
Well, I had to get permission because I was joining up. I wanted to be a boys'
Oh,
soldier.
you wanted to sign up for
Yeah,
army, were it?
yeah, and and so I had to get permission, and the permission was granted, and left school. I left school with knack all really. I didn't like
Right,
school, quite honestly. I
right.
hated school, and you know when I was really really young, and I can't remember what you call the schools. You know, it's not the infants; it's the next one up from infants, and I can't remember what you call it.
Yeah, yeah.
Whatever it is, the next one up from infants. Well, I used to set off to school, and then when I got to the end of the road, instead of turning left to go up to school, I turned right and went down to the harbour every
Right.
day. Every day I went to the bloody harbour, same place, every day. Didn't go to school, went to the harbour.
Bloody hell.
And it got to a point where the kid catcher,
Aye.
you know what a kid catcher is
Yeah,
anyway.
truant officer.
Truant officer, yeah. Nay. Kid catcher used to be waiting at the harbour to pick me up to take me to school. And Mr. Stupid here used to just keep going to the same place. You know, I could have
Oh.
gone.
And
I could
what
have
did you what did your mum make of that?
Oh, she used to clip me ear all. Oh, you know, she used to beat me with a poker. Yeah, it sounds awful, doesn't it? Now,
I
but
know. I could tell you some tales of when I was a kid and
it
the
was
stuff my
nothing.
mum did.
It was nothing. She gave me a good hiding. Plus, we, you know, as I say, we didn't have a man in the house, so
Right.
mum was
Well,
basically the woman
in
and the man.
fairness, back in the day when I was a kid, mums were the one that administered everything. I mean,
Yeah,
my
yeah.
dad never laid a finger on me, but my mum did, you know, and it was like you do as she says or she'll tell your dad. And if your dad
Yeah,
finds out, he will cut it short. You know what I mean? So there were feared women with them back in them days, because a woman did a lot of work, didn't there?
Yeah.
You know, as I was saying to you before about, you know, how we used to do things like washing, you know, and things like that.
Yeah.
And there were no
morning wash.
There were no spin dryers. There were no
No.
electric. You know,
I was a spin dryer.
You was.
I went. Well, I used to do. I used to do the dolly tub first. Monday morning, 5:30. My mum used to get the water hot.
Yes.
And then we'd go out the back to the dolly tub, which is, I don't know if people know what dolly tubs are, but it's just a big tub.
Yes.
Full of hot soapy water.
It was a metal tub, wasn't it?
Yeah, a metal tub, and then you had a big pole with like a 3-legged prong on the bottom, which was the can't remember the word now, but you used to have to spin that so that it looked like your washing was getting spun in this tub.
That's right.
And then once that had done, you had to take it out and put it through a bloody mangle. I presume you know what a mangle is. A mangle's the thing where it squeezes all the water out. Well,
it was basically a mangle. Was basically there were usually two pieces of circular wood, weren't there? There were like two poles, big poles, and they were connected with a metal frame. And you turned the big handle, and you got the water out by sending the clothes through these two big rollers.
That was it. And occasionally your fingers went through.
Yes, once they did, you knew about it. You'd be careful after that.
You certainly learned your lessons. But yes, every Monday morning, because I was the youngest boy, it was my job. And then do the mangling, and then you do the rinsing and mangle it again, and then put it on the line. And hopefully it was a good day. It didn't piss down with rain, and the stuff got dried. Well, however, if it didn't get dried, she left it overnight, and then when you got up next morning, it had been freezing overnight, and it was the washing was like concrete.
It was,
it was like bloody concrete. Oh God!
You see, there were no central heating or anything like that. People don't understand what it was like, Paul, do they?
No, well,
you know, I mean, my job as a kid, from being about 7 years old, was to set the fire, what we call set the fire.
Yeah.
And that was, I used to get up with my dad, and I remember him showing me how to go on, and we had to go in cellar, and I had to chop wood, you know, into little bits of wood.
Yeah.
I mean, 7-year-old, I was using an axe to chop wood. So
get the old kindling going, that was it.
You soon learnt how to look after yourself, because it was so dangerous. And then I'd get that chopped. I'd get loads of newspaper, heat fire, get it all going, and then once that kindle had taken, I used to have a bucket of coal that I'd brought up from cellar, ready to just put bits on, and by the time my mum got up, it was a good fire. So my dad then he went to work, he left me there, and when my mum got up, you know, it was all nice and warm, and that was my day. That was my job every day. But I tell you what, them coal fires, that's where you got your heat from.
It was. Didn't have anything else.
Because I don't know if a lot of people know that, like in old terrace houses, chimney breasts went straight up. Obviously, the chimney went straight out. Now, most people had their bed up against the chimney breast in the bedroom, because that wall would always warm from the fire, and it also used to heat as water. Did the fire?
That's
the only way we got hot water.
Yeah. Oh, good heavens!
And coalman used to come every week, you know, and tip them. We had a chute on the outside the house, little chute, and he'd tip them down for us. And I'd be down in coalman's here. I'd be down in telling me, moving it about so it didn't get all clogged up. Because if it did, and he couldn't get it down, he just leave sacks outside at the house. So but you don't even see him now, do you, Coleman?
No, you don't.
It's old stuff. It's how you lived how I lived as a kid, and you know it's a wonderful, special time. but it wasn't easy. It wasn't
No.
easy, was it?
No, it wasn't an easy life, but I mean, it sounds like, I was beaten every day and God knows what, and I wasn't. I had a happy childhood. I loved my
Yeah.
childhood. It was great.
Yeah.
I love my mum to bits. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Even though she's given me some good hidings at time, but you learn what was right and what was bloody wrong, or how to
Yes, you got
run
one.
fast. I
She
soon
wants
learned
to.
how to run fast. I can tell you that one.
Oh yes, my mum once clipped me right look for note because I'm humbled somewhat. And I says, "What's
Yeah,
that for?" She says, "Because she didn't speak up, just for
yeah,
not speaking up, you know."
mumbling.
Yeah, mumbling.
Yeah,
Stop mumbling. What? And my dad used to get bloody fork from dinner table and back of me. Oh, that used to hurt. Back at knuckles. But the worst my mum ever did, she used to braise, but they won't understand today. Today's world that it wasn't good, but it wasn't bad. But the worst thing she ever did was, carbolic soap,
yeah,
the old
yeah,
green bars.
yeah.
Big, we used to have them under the sink, and she once bloody washed my mouth out with that because she had me
Oh,
swear. Oh,
good heavens!
but at the same time, I didn't want to tell him my dad. I said, "Oh, if he comes in and he knows that, he'll be onto me."
Yeah,
So I didn't say it was same with coppers. If they ever caught you doing out wrong when you were a kid, the worst thing they could say to you is, "I know your dad, and I'm going to tell him," because you won't want it, would you? You won't, because what? That's the difference with today. What had happened is, my father would say, "Well, you must have done something wrong,"
yeah,
or if I went home from school and said, teacher had clipped me
yeah.
out lug, it'd say, "Well,
She'd
you
give
must
you a
have done."
clip.
Yeah, it'd say, "You must
Yeah,
have done something wrong." Today it's opposite way around, isn't it? Don't touch my
yeah.
kid and all that.
You'll have to forgive me for laughing because I'm reading some of these comments, and this one it just caught me as I was reading. My mum had 9 elder brothers. They all shared crowded bed and had coats instead of blankets. Lucky buggers. But my mum had her own room with knitted blankets. Well, I can tell you now. I had 3 older brothers and a younger sister. And there was 3 bedrooms. The younger sister got the one bedroom. Mum got the other bedroom, and us 4 brothers had the other bedroom. And we used to sleep top to toe. So one would have the head at the top of the bed, the next one would have the head at the bottom of the bed, and you go like that all the way through. So you could have some rough nights. Well, I could when it was me next eldest brother because he had a right foot thing going. It wasn't very nice, but it is what it is, isn't it? I'm going to take that off now if I
It
can
is,
find
yeah,
out
it
where it
is.
is.
No,
Larry, I love that. I really do. I love it.
let's just get on to a little bit to something I don't know much about that I know people are very interested in, and it's an hobby of yours. You know what I'm going to say, don't you?
Yeah, genealogy. I know.
Genealogy.
Yeah,
So I noticed you'd done a couple of videos,
I have. Yeah.
you know, about it. So for people who's new to it all, where do you start, Paul?
Just bear with me a second.
Are you having a laugh?
Yeah, because there's got some good things on here. That's okay, Grandad. My sister pissed the bed. Well, that's fine because so did I. So
Do
you
you know
know,
do you know that Bernard Manning joke? It
no,
says
but
I had 7 brothers.
aye.
Yeah, they all wet the bed, and when I come along, my mum says, "Which end of bed do you want?" They all shared a bed. He said, "Shallow end."
Yeah, that's a good one. Anyway, oh, good heavens above. What was the favourite pub called you ran, Grandad? I can tell you now, Dimitri. It was the Salt Box at Harrogate, a really, really small pub
Bit posh up
in
there.
Harrogate.
Bit posh up there.
Yeah. But it was a nice pub and we had fun. And it was easy to keep, easy to run. easy
So
to
what
keep.
what interest did you have? What did you actually do with the pubs then? I mean, you say you managed quite a lot of pubs.
Well, we started
Um,
up in this salt box basically, and
right,
we were. I'm just trying to remember how we got it. We were tenants of the pub, and I can't remember the brewery, but we were tenants, and we did that for a couple of years, and then it went from there basically, getting more pubs and more pubs. But
right.
anyway, we can go back. We can go back to where you want to go back to.
Well,
Um,
it's just you know, i- this genealogy, it's very popular. As you see on TV, they're always putting these adverts on. Search for
well,
your ancestors. So if
I
anybody's interested, where you don't want to go out and spend 50 quid on some some course that you don't when you haven't a clue. Is that where do you start?
Oh, is that what you're asking me? Where do you start?
Yeah,
Well,
what I'm saying is,
they
how
start,
they say on TV, like, come on, these adverts, find your family history, join this course for 50 quid and you can
Yeah,
find
yeah.
your family.
You
Is that the way to go, or is
No, it
what's the
isn't.
best way to go?
It's not the way to go at all because it's only going to cost you buckets of money in the end. So you need to go where it's free to start with, so you can get how to do things and how to create trees and how to search and stuff like that, where it's free. And
Right,
that's the thing. And there is one big site out there on the internet that's free,
right,
totally. And it's an amazing site, and it's run by the um, Mormons. Um, it's the Church of the Latter Day Saints, and
all
it's a
right,
Mormon site. Now it's unbelievable. It's a free site. You can go in and no good putting in your own name first or whatever, but if you do, put your own name in, create the account, and then put your mum and dad in, and as many people as you can remember
yeah,
as your family. And I tell you what, 99% of the time, you'll come back with a hit for one of your ancestors that'll fill
really,
your tree out. Yeah, it's so easy, and it took Bobby. It took me a long time to find what was for nout, because when I first started, I started with a company called Ancestry,
right,
and it cost me £50. Now that was 20 odd years ago. Now £50 was quite a bit of money 20 odd years ago.
yes,
But you didn't get all the information you wanted, so you had to join another bloody site that give you a bit more information. And then they did, the further you get
right,
into it, the more info you want, and not all sites have all the info you want. So you have to go to another bloody site. And in the end, you're paying out 400-500 quid
yeah,
for these things. And you only want to be doing that when you're confident that you're into it. Because lots of people start family trees and then give up.
yeah, yeah.
You know, it's a
See,
bit like it's a bit like taking a DNA test. Now, a DNA test is not cheap. It's 40, 50 quid, 60 quid, 70 quid, or whatever, but they're not cheap. And
right,
then somebody will say, and I see hundreds of them send in their DNA, and then it comes back with all the results, and then they do knack all with it. Yeah, I think, why have you taken the test if you're only going to have
yeah,
you in your tree? What's the
yeah,
point of taking the test?
yeah,
Because there's hundreds out there who've taken this DNA test and they only have one in the tree, maybe three in the tree. They've got them in and the mum and dad in. I just can't see the point. They've spent the money and they're wasting the bloody time. So, lots of people drop out. The best bet with genealogy, quite honestly, is set yourself a time. So I used to set myself a Sunday afternoon for an hour. I'd sit down and I'd do whatever I had to do for the hour, and then I'd come off and wait till the Sunday after. It's not that
Right.
now. I mean, I'm 70 odd. I don't go out. I'm like a troglodyte. I never go outside, and I sit on my computer all day. So I can afford to search and troll records and God knows what. So
Yeah,
yeah,
you've got the time.
I've got the
Right.
time now. I didn't have later.
Yeah. Yeah.
DNA tests are not a scam. I don't know who dishonest goofies. I can tell you now, DNA tests are not a scam because on my, I couldn't find my father. Okay, I didn't know my father. All I had was a birth certificate saying who he was. I took a DNA test, and it turned out that the person on my birth certificate wasn't my father. So the DNA proved that he wasn't my father. And then, I found a couple of first cousins who I'd never even heard of.
Right.
And it turned out that these cousins, I don't know how to explain it, but it turned out that I had another two sisters and another brother. So when I had a family of five of us, all of a sudden, when I come to 60 years old, I've got a family of eight.
Wow.
You know,
That's a big
and
shock, is that, isn't it?
well, it came as a shock, yeah. But the bigger shock came when we took the DNA test because all these new three all had the same father, and the only thing that we all had in common was my mother.
Yes.
We all had mother, but they had the father, and the father who they had was the one who was listed on my birth certificate. So I didn't have. He wasn't mine because he'd moved away up north somewhere with his first three kids, and like I said, DNA said, well, you know, you're this, and what happened was. What happened was I've forgotten. Whatever way. I did the DNA, and when it came back, you could have knocked me over with a feather because me sat as a proud Yorkshireman found out that nah, you're not a Yorkshireman. You're a pissing Viking, mate. My father
Well,
turned
yeah.
out to be Danish,
Right.
and I've got 59.7% Danish blood.
Have you really? Bloody hell.
Yeah, so I'm a Viking in disguise.
But aren't a lot of us aren't there? If we go far enough back.
Well, I'm only going back one generation to my father.
Yeah, I know. But I mean,
if we all got, if you want to be pedantic,
did your mother not tell you anything when you were a
Bobby,
kid?
she didn't. She never. None of us knew. I've got a brother still alive and a sister still alive, and they didn't know. The three new ones knew that there was family elsewhere. They knew, but we didn't. And as I say, so eventually my brother took a DNA test and my sister took a DNA test. And it turned out that my brother's father was not my father. So that meant we had three fathers for eight. And then when my sisters came back, it turned out that their father wasn't my father's or my brother's father. So now we had four fathers for eight.
Did this not mess with your head?
No, it didn't really. I'd got to that age. I was quite, I don't know. I was quite elated, if that's the right word.
Right.
I think it's great, but that isn't the end of it because I had two brothers who were dead, so of course they can't take DNA. However, their offspring took DNA tests, and you know what I'm going to say, don't you? Apparently, my oldest brother well, the oldest brother I knew about at that time didn't have the same father that I had, and he didn't have the same father that my other brother had, and he didn't have the same father that my sister had. So now we had 5 fathers for 8 children. And then the remaining not sibling, the remaining cousin took a DNA test, and it turns out that her father's father wasn't my father or any of our fathers. So we ended up with a family of 8 and 6 fathers.
One mother.
One mother, family of 8, 6 fathers.
Bloody hell.
So you know, Mum had a really nice time.
Well, aye. That's
That's all I can
that's
say.
that's an
But
eye
yeah.
opener. I mean, I know back in them days you did have, there were big families. My
Well,
parents, my mum's
yeah,
family had there was 8 of them. I mean, my wife's mother had 7 siblings, so there were 8 of them.
yeah. But there weren't 8 fathers, though, was there?
Well, I don't think so. But I've got a story. I've got a story that goes back. Well, I remember probably about 30 years ago now. My granddad, my mum's dad, he was in the army, and he was sent to South Africa a lot. I mean, he was born in in 1890 something. I think he was born. So it was he was a long time ago. Anyway, he had my granddad with my grandma had 8 kids, and then when he passed away, they found out that he had a family before he married my grandmother, and there
Yeah.
were another 6 kids.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
So,
Do you know it's amazing?
so they all got together in a. You were down Brig, Brig House.
I do, yeah.
It were down there. They had a night, booked a room, and they all met up. And it were like, well, we've all got same dad, but it were like absolutely crazy, because how could he keep another life private? But it didn't run. It didn't run alongside my grandmother's.
Yeah.
These were a lot older than me, my mother and her siblings. It was before her, so he'd had one full life with a family, big family, and then he decided to get married again. But because he were in the army, we were never home.
Yeah.
These things happened.
Yeah.
It's a crazy world, isn't it?
It can be,
Absolutely.
yeah. But we can't. The thing is, you can't judge your ancestors by your standards. That's what you can't. You can't do that.
No,
You can't
no.
judge your ancestors by your standards. It doesn't
No.
work. Now, I know why my mother was like she was. I know why she was, because I've got a life story. I've got newspaper reports. I've got all that. I've got loads and loads and loads and loads of stuff.
Right.
So I've been able to put my mum's life together, and I know what her life was like. She married in the war. That was the Second World War, by the way, not the first. She married. Well, she married just before the Second World War broke out, and she had 3 children in quick succession. However, the person, or the father she had the children to, was a little bit of a twat, and that's putting it really, really politely. And it isn't something I've made up. It's I've researched it and looked at, read newspaper reports and all that kind of crap. So I know what he was, and he didn't give mother much money to look after the kids or the house or whatever. He just used to go get pissed on the harbour top and whatever. Anyway, the war broke out, and I don't know how to put it really, but my mum was sent to court early in the Second World War, very early in the Second World War, and what she'd done is she'd been walking home and she'd found a bag outside a shop. Now I'm taking that as it's read, because that's what it said. Her statement was in the court. However, the court didn't believe her, and they sent her to prison, hard labour, for 4 months. for what they called looting.
For what?
Looting,
Looting.
you know?
That was
Yeah,
classed as
looting.
looting. Bloody
Yeah,
hell.
well, that it was the first case in Bridlington. So
Bloody
they had
hell.
to, they had to call it bloody something, didn't they? So they
Well,
called it looting. And as I say, she got sent down hard labour. And I can't remember exactly how long it was for, but it was right up to Christmas. She was locked up over the Christmas period in 1943.
right.
And while she was locked up, her husband packed his 3 kids up, grabbed the woman he used to whatever with, and pissed off up north with the 3 kids and the woman.
Wow.
So then my mum come out of jail and nowhere to live and no money coming in and this twat moving up north out the way. So she didn't know where he was or whatever. But then she had to get on with her life, didn't she? So she
Yeah.
did.
It's a different world. I mean,
Yeah.
family values were different. I mean,
Yeah.
there were no contraception. Only chance you had of a
Well,
contraception is if you were.
Bob, I don't want to jump in there, but there was contraception in those days. It was called the biscuit tin. Do you know the biscuit tin contraception? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I won't have to explain the biscuit tin contraception to you.
Tell the people in the chat. Go on, explain the biscuit team.
The biscuit tin. Right.
I know what it is.
So the biscuit tin. I don't know how to put it really politely, but anyway, you're having sex basically, and you stand on the tin, and the woman stands up against the wall, and you do your biz, and the woman keeps an eye on your face, and as you come to your vinegar stroke as such, she kicks the pissing tin, and of course, boom, there you go, it's gone. So the biscuit tins saved your life. Well, it sounds better if you word it right, but I couldn't word it right, could I? Oh, anyway.
Yeah. See, well, Nicky's laughing at it.
Well, it is. It's a funny thing. It's a biscuit tin. It's a bit like I'd have to. I'm not going to say the next bit because there's another one, and you can't explain what it is. You've got to show, and I can't really show you because I'm not like that.
Well, Knox is there. Knoxy in chat. He's asked his wife, Clary.
Yeah.
Up for the biscuit tin later.
Yeah. Everybody will be at it by Sunday, I tell you. I've set a trend.
And then Black Queen says, I will never look at a biscuit tin without laughing.
Yeah.
It's crazy old world we live in.
Withdrawal and hope. Well, yeah, that's what it was. Tom, that's what it was, mate. Withdraw and hope.
So that it wasn't unknown that for an average family to be 5-6 children, and there was no money in the house, and we're still having these amount of children,
Yeah.
But that the government there weren't communication. I think was the problem. Are you laughing at another one? My granddad had a lot of biscuit tins now. I know why.
Sorry. I was going to say about being short of money. My first job, I was 10 years old, and I used to go round with the milkman. It sounds awful nowadays, but I used to go delivering milk with the milkman.
Yes.
And I used to have to go to the dairy at 4 a.m. and deliver the milk with this milkman. He had one of those little electric trolley things. Don't know what you call them, but and we delivered the milk. And by 7 o'clock, I'd finished, so I could get home, have some hot milk and bread, and piss off to school or to the harbour anyway. But Mum thought it was a school, so yeah. So the money from that job went to Mum, and all my money, right up until I joined the army, every penny I earned, I gave
Yeah.
it to my mother. I never kept it for myself. I gave it to my mother, and if I wanted anything, I'd just say, "Mum, can I have this?" And she'd go and buy it. Sometimes she'd say, "No, you can't have a fish and chips today. You had them last month." But so from basically from being in double figures in my life, I've worked,
Yeah.
and that's all I've done all my life. I've worked. I've never been on the dole or anything like that. If I've lost a job, I've lost a job, and I've got another one straight away, or I've invented a job and done it myself, or whatever. I've always found something.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Survivor.
when I was 13, we used to do a thing called case carrying in Bridlington. It was a summer thing you could do, and you used to have a little trolley. And what you would do is on a Saturday morning, um, well, it wouldn't be a Saturday morning, it'd be a Saturday afternoon. After lunch on a Saturday afternoon, you'd go to the railway station and you'd stand outside the railway station with your trolley. And all the holiday makers, because there was bloody hundreds coming in, would get off the trains, come out, and you'd offer to carry the cases to the hotel. So they didn't have to trudge about with them, No taxis and shit like that in those days. It was, you had to walk.
Yeah. Yeah.
And anyway, so as a young boy case carrying, I learnt where all the good hotels and guest houses and bed and breakfast and whatever were, and so I used to offer to carry cases, and you'd carry the case to the said guest house, drop them inside, and then they pay you, like some half a crown or 5 bob. You never got more than 5 bob, but half a crown, 5 bob. Half a crown is 2 and a tanner, or 2 and 6pence, or 5 bob. But then what you used to say to me is, "You want me to pick you up next week?" Because it was always a week's holiday, and it was a Saturday to a Saturday, So you came Saturday afternoon, you went home on a Saturday morning. So I used to organise to go and pick them up on the Saturday morning to take
Right.
them back to the railway station. Now that was a full day's job, because you would be all morning picking people up from all sorts of guest houses and hotels and whatever, taking them to the station, earning your keep, and then in the afternoon waiting for the trains coming in. If the trains weren't coming in that day, they weren't a lot coming in, we used to go to the coach park, and we'd stand in the coach park. And there wasn't only me; there was lots of lads doing it. And and you did that all summer. And as I say, the money from that went to my mum, and wham bam, thank you, ma'am. But you couldn't do it in winter, of course, because no bugger came for holidays in winter. But it was a summer job.
Oh, being a coastal town.
Yeah. But I mean, it was busy when I was a young boy. The town was busy.
Yeah.
It was, I can remember in 1966 World Cup. When we won the cup,
Yes.
I can remember the afternoon listening on the beach at Bridlington to the World Cup on radio, because everybody on the beach had a radio, and I was there carrying serving tea on the beach. So I used to work for a man who used to own the tea stall on the north side of the beach at Bridlington, and I would get the teas, go walking around the people on the beach and give them the tea, and then go back later, pick up the cups and all that. And
So
then, of course,
sorry.
yeah, no, but then so you earn money. They give you a
Yeah.
tip. The bloke you were selling the tea for, he gave you a free cup of tea every now and again, or an ice cream or whatever. You didn't get a lot off him, but you got it off people.
You were quite enterprising as a kid, then, weren't you? I mean,
Well, you had to be, because
I
it's the only
was
way
just going to say that you didn't. you know, I mean, it's all right saying, you know, these young'uns and what have you, you know, and they're going to moan about it, but you didn't get outgiven, did you? You didn't get
Yeah.
outgiven. You
No,
know,
you didn't.
so you had to go out and get it. And if you were
Yeah,
a
I
good
mean,
lad,
you
you
know,
got it in the right way.
Barra Boys. Yeah, Barra Boys, Bridlington. Yeah, no, you weren't given anything. You know, I can remember going to the grown-up school, and again, I can't remember what they call these schools. Is it a comprehensive school? Anyway,
Comprehensive school, I
yeah,
think it's it's top. That's
it's
top end at schools, isn't
yeah.
it?
Well, when I went to the one after junior school, you know, you did your 11 plus. If you got your 11 plus, you went to the brainy school, and if you didn't get the 11 plus, you went to this common shit round the corner. Well, I went to the common shit. However, whilst there, they did a thing for trips, you know, and there was a trip to Paris. I can't remember how long it was. I think it was a fortnight kids trip to Paris,
Right.
and you had to pay your money every Monday morning, you know, towards this trip. Well, I had no fucking money. How could I pay money to go on a trip? So I went home and said to my mum, you know, there's a trip going, but I don't think I can go because it's going to cost, I don't know, 20 quid or whatever it was. I don't know.
Mm.
And so I've told them I'm not going. And she said, no, you can go, son. It's all right. You go. I said, well, I have to pay him every Monday morning. She says, you go. So anyway, my mum used to work in a cafe, you know, waiting on in one of Bridlington's cafes, and all the tips that she got, she'd come to me on a Monday morning with the tips. Give me your tips, and I took it to school to pay for me.
That was lovely. That was lovely.
Yeah, you know, so you know, she went without,
Yeah.
so that I could go basically to Paris and see the Mona Lisa and whatever.
That's why mums are special. That's why we should always respect them. And until they've
Oh,
gone,
do you know?
you don't realise until they've gone, do you?
No, you should.
You know.
You know.
Um,
It's. I wish my mum was still here with me because
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
I think about her every day, and I'd love to talk to her, and you
Yeah.
know, I'd
You
love to
know,
find out things.
it's I think it's 11 years since my mum went, and you know, I can still hear her on phone. I
Yeah,
can imagine her saying to me, because she called me Robert, because
yeah,
she wouldn't let. Oh, he's not Bob. He's not Bobby. And
yeah.
she wouldn't have it. My name was Robert, and that was it.
Yeah, you're right.
But I can still hear her voice. You know that when she used to ring up, she'd say Robert, and I can still hear that in my head. And it's because you know you miss these little things, don't you, that you used to have between
You
yourselves,
do, yeah. You know,
personal little things.
you know, you knew you'd done something wrong when Mum used to sit there and she used to shout, "Alan, Malcolm, Paul, come here now," because she could never get your bloody name out,
No,
and you knew that if you were last on the list, you were the bad one. You were going to get it.
yes. My wife says that about her. She's got a sister and a brother, and she says she's youngest, his wife, and she
Yeah,
says
yeah,
they used to go through everybody's name till they got right name.
yeah, yeah. But you were, like I say, you always knew who was in trouble because
Yeah,
you
by
were
the last
always the
name.
last one on the list. So, but yeah, it's I think you know
It's
my childhood was great. I loved it.
yeah, yeah,
I love my childhood. I mean, you know, there was some dark days, but it was mostly good, mostly good.
yeah.
And
Mine
anyway,
wasn't a bad childhood, but I had my parents divorced when I was 10-year old, so there were a lot of confusion, and the family was split. There's just
yeah,
me and my sister. There's two of us, and my mother, my sister went with my father, and I went with my mother. Now, my father ended up living in Bradford, and my mother lived in Huddersfield, so they were a fair distance. So I didn't get to see
aye,
my dad a lot growing up, or my
no,
sister. You know, so it was a bit. It was like having two different lives, two different families. When we were one, it were different, you know, and even then, you know, it was
You
strange.
know,
But
I know you got it a bit wrong there, Bob, because it's you know, it's Thanos.
I know,
Thanos.
I
You
know.
know,
You know something, Paul?
you've
I
lost
know.
it, haven't you? You need to get
No,
back to your
well,
Yorkshire
no.
roots and start
What happened is, if you look,
talking.
shut up now. Listen, if you look on your YouTube studio,
Oh,
it
yeah.
actually tells you how many people use subtitles. Well, mine were getting ridiculous. I was getting like 80% had to use subtitles. So I
Right.
thought I'd better soften it a little bit.
Well, bollocks to them, quite honestly. If you can't understand it, well, it's tough, innit? Anyway, Bobby, you know, I've just sat and looked, and it's nearly 8 o'clock.
Right.
And
Listen,
quite
Paul.
honestly, I've talked a load of bollocks because I
No,
don't think
listen, we have.
I don't
We
think
both
we've
have.
said out.
Listen, I tell you what, though. Next week, I want to look at. Let's have a look at what how your trip to Paris went. It's only a few weeks
Oh,
ago, isn't it? But
yeah,
it's
yeah.
Paris.
No, you mean the trip I took to visit my ancestors'
Right.
First
Well,
World
don't
War
tell nobody.
grave?
Don't tell nobody, and we'll go through that next week.
Yeah, well, I've
And
made a couple of little videos, so we
I'd
can
like
do
to,
that.
and we can pick up on where we've left off. You know, and
Yeah.
about how different things are.
Yeah.
And
I'll
so, if
get
anybody wants to,
I'll get a
to put
different
in,
background for next week.
right, it's a bit hectic, is that?
Is it? Do you think?
Oh, well, have you ever been to a fun fair with all them lights bloody
I
flashing?
bloody have. I go every year. It's Hull Fair. You know Hull Fair? Hull
Yeah.
Fair is the biggest fair in Europe.
Right.
It's
Right.
huge.
Yeah,
It is
I've heard of it, but
well, heard of it. You want to
I'll
get
be
your
honest
ass
with
to
you.
it in October, mate.
I'll be honest with you.
Right.
It's something I heard a lot of years ago, and I thought I didn't know it still went on. To be honest.
Oh, it's been going on for 700 years. This Hull Fair.
Yeah.
700 years, and that thing's been spinning for 700 years. It's gone now, but and
So
the
if
same
anybody,
bloke,
I'll just
same
address.
bloke sells the coconut.
I'll just address
Anyway.
your chat, Paul.
Yeah, go on.
Anybody has any ideas, if they want to put them on one of the videos on my channel over at The Real Honest Truth, or comment with Paul about anything you want to talk about, or anything, you know, we'll pick up on it, and I'll stop Paul getting grumpy and saying no, we're not talking about that. And we'll have a good laugh. So same time next week. Yeah, is that all right with you, Paul?
Yeah.
So we'll pick
I
up
think
where we left off.
What we'll do next week, Bobby, is I'll see if I can find out how we can get together properly.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because I know there is a way of getting together properly on the chats, and rather than us having two different systems and you not seeing all the stuff.
That's it.
You know.
I'll work it out. I should have worked it out really, but I know that some people share them. So what happens is like you're live now and I'm not. And you can share it so they're both your life on both channels.
Well, I've read it this afternoon, so I'll get onto it and have a look. But
right. Anyway, I'll just say ta-ra to all your chat, and I'll leave you to say goodbye to your chat, because they're all your supporters. I'll give a big shout out, Paul. You know what a shout out?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, shout out.
To Kelsey, because she's a wonderful,
Kelsey's
wonderful
great.
mod.
Love her.
And from what I've seen in the chat, everybody's been quite polite tonight, and I think Kelsey must have been on the ball tonight.
Well, she must be, because I've not knocked anybody off.
So yeah, I'd love to give you all a call out, but I'll let Paul do that. I'll let him shout all your names out when I've gone.
Bobby.
So
before you go, I just want to say thanks. I've enjoyed the hour.
Yeah.
And
Where hast thou been since I saw thee on Humour Barda? Where hast thou been since I saw thee?
There you go. I thought I'd just give you a little thing to.
Never mind the Queen's. Never mind the Queen's English. That's the English.
That's a right Yorkshireman singing there.
That's a proper. That's the only language there is the Yorkshire.
Yeah, he goes a long way back with that, man. Anyway,
right, mate. I'll leave you to it.
I'll be in touch during the week anyway, so we can sort things out and see if we can get it going a little bit better.
I hope everybody's enjoyed it. And as I said, we're open to, we're open to comments and ideas, and we'll pick up where we left ough next week. So I'll catch you through the week, Paul.
Take care.
Have a steady week, and I'll catch you later, mate. Bye now.
Mate. Bye. Yeah, so going to finish now. And before we finish, I can honestly say there's been some great comments tonight. I've loved some of these comments, especially the biscuit tin comments. I've loved them. Yeah, Cyrus of Iris. Why don't you just keep your gob shut? Yeah, if you want to get shitty like that, well, be shitty, but you've gone, mate, now, so you ain't going to come on again. So sorry, people, I'm just going through the chat, and if I see a chat and I don't like it, well, they can piss off, and I've just pissed him off, or her, or whatever it was. Gone. Yeah. So anyway, wow, there's been a lot in, hasn't there? Lots of chat. Clary, good night. Noxie, Queen Chegg, Mini Scotch Egg, Nikki, Dishonest Goof. I don't know about that one. Yeah, you're going to go as well, I think, because I don't like, I don't like you. So, unfortunately, you've gone. Okay? I'm not putting timeouts. You're just going. You won't come on again. Anyway, Clary, Noxie, Black Queen, again. Black Queen. Yeah, there you go. You're going as well. I'm glad I've come through this now. Forgotten who it was now, but he's gone anyway. What's yours and Levi's biscuit? Oh, right. It's not a question to me. Okay. So, hope you've enjoyed it. I've loved every minute. I really have. And I've got one or two things in the pipeline that I'm going to be doing, and you'll get to see them. I do apologize. I'm still going through the list. However, I'm going to say good night and TTFN. And I can't find. Oh, I'm trying to put on. Shit, that hasn't worked, has it? Anyway, TTFN. See you next week.